Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Here it's about soul vision, how to live the life you are here for. And today I have a very exciting guest with me, and we're speaking about career and how to build the life you want to live. I have Linda Pallien with me. Welcome, Linda. I'm so grateful to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Sylvia. I'm super excited to be here.
Linda is an amazing person. She's a world-class career coach. She's an international speaker. She is a best-selling author of 3 books. She wrote the book How to Career and 2 other more books. She has spoken to incredible people in the world, to thought leaders, and she's a wonderful woman with a deep character. And I got to know her at one of her events here in Cyprus, where we're both living, from the Alpha Woman Club. And I just felt her aura, and I felt, I want to speak to this woman. I can feel she has so much to tell us. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me here today.
My pleasure. And thank you so much for your kind words. It means a lot.
Thank you. I found one topic. I don't know if it was on your side. It was, the topic is career, but the subject is you. And I want to choose this as a topic for today, because I think this is exactly what so many people need right now, to understand that they are the subject, that they are the creators of their life. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What are you doing? How did you come to this position that you're now working at? And just tell us a little bit about your amazing story.
Do you know what? I think you've hit the nail on the head. The topic is career and the subject is you, because it's all about you. You're the centerpiece in all of it. So as you said, my name's Linda Pallien. I started off my career in HR. Well, actually, going way back, I studied finance and languages, because all along I was told that I needed to be a banker, I needed to work in finance, that's where all the money is. So from my parents and from family and from statistics, that's where I was supposed to go. So I studied that, of course, ended up working in one of the world's top banks. And by society standards, I'd made it doing something that I was qualified for, the job that I was supposed to love, but it didn't really work for me because it wasn't aligned with who I am at my core. So I had to go through the soul searching. So I went from finance and banking into careers advice and helping students, into HR and recruitment, and then into consulting, and then into starting my own business doing that. But at core, I always say my sole purpose is to champion the dreams and goals of people. I can do that through their profession, I can do that through their personal lives, I can do that through their self-confidence and their beliefs, and just exploring who they are fully. So at core, I'm a cheerleader for people, hence the name My Cheerlinda. That is the nickname I use professionally. I'm married to a German, which is lovely and ironic at the same time. It's a hilarious story. I never thought I would, but yeah, he's pretty much my person, my lobster. if I'm gonna use a friend's, apologies about that, a friend's anyway, of pausing this.
No worries. You've summed it up in a couple of sentences. And I watched your TED talk on how to find your purpose, and I found it so inspiring, because you really lived the dream. And then at one point you said something, oh, I was living what I thought was my dream career, and also what was the dream career that my parents chose for me, or something along these lines. And somehow it took a while until you break out of this dream that somebody else has chosen for you, and then you developed your own life. What was a key turning point for you to get there?
I think I had to hit rock bottom for me. Just knowing that, I think it was the feeling of being alone, because I I didn't feel like I had a right to complain. I knew I was unhappy, but I didn't feel like I had a right to complain. And of course, my manager and everybody else will go, "Oh, you know how many people will kill to be in your position?" And sometimes we all feel like that, where everyone thinks you're living the dream, so you shouldn't complain. But your reality is so different. And it's valid, but of course, most people don't validate that. And it's just coming to terms with, actually, this isn't working for me. So what really is authentic to me? And authenticity, it's so cliche. Everybody says, "Oh, be authentic, be yourself," whatever. But it really takes courage to stand up, to go deep, and to actually find, does this make me happy as a soul? Is this aligned with what I'm here for? And sometimes it may not be, and usually it's not the most popular thing. It's not the biggest eureka money-making thing, but that's the most fulfilling thing for you. And and knowing that and choosing that path, that's where the bravery and the courage comes in, because you're going to have to go through to the bitter end and see it through for that fulfilling your life's purpose mission. So that was it for me.
Beautifully said. And you said that before, like you felt alone and everybody else was telling you, wow, my God, you're living the perfect life. Like, how can you be ungrateful to not love this life? And then there was this turning point, and you said, okay, it took courage, but how do you build this courage muscle?
I mean, for me, I had a low point. It's no secret. I actually became suicidal at some point. And there was this resolve where it got to, you know what, screw the money. I'd rather be living under a bridge than have to walk into this office again and deal with this feeling of not being enough, not doing, you try your best, but it's just not for you. So it's a lose-lose situation. You don't feel like you're enough, or whatever you do will ever be enough. And of course, the people you're working for don't think you're doing enough. So and when you get to that rock bottom, it's just going, okay, well, fine. I'm okay to start at zero again, and it'll be fine. Anything is better than this. So sometimes, and unfortunately for a lot of people, they hit rock bottom before they start thinking, actually, where can I rebuild? And I can rebuild, and it will take some time and it'll be uncomfortable, but I can do that. But if you're smart, or if you're fortunate enough to have done the self-work, you can realize that a lot sooner before you hit rock bottom, and stop and reflect. And this is why introspection is super important, to be able to stop at each point and go, is this the right direction for me? Where is this leading? Like, even if it's not the macro goal of, I want to reach 1 million people with my message and my purpose, but okay, in this week, do I feel like what I'm doing is aligning to my purpose? And if not, where have I gone off course, and how can I get back onto it? If you do that, it's easy to correct as you go, and get back into purpose-driven work rather than waiting to be burnt out. But of course, if you burn out as well, we're all here to experience life. So that's part of the journey. Just embracing it and moving forward. So for me, that was my journey.
Wow. Wow. I loved how you said that, like, now when you are aligned, and it doesn't matter, even if it's simple baby steps towards your mission, but when it's aligned, there is so much fulfillment, even in the smallest beginnings, let's say, right? And maybe we get sometimes so blinded by this idea of this fancy career that we're not really checking in with us on a daily basis. Hey, is this what I really wanted to show up for? Mm-hmm. And I love that you pointed out this point that, you had this feeling of a lack of self fulfillment, self-worth, like I'm not good enough. And even your everybody at work was telling you, oh my God, you're doing great, but inside there was this deep feeling of I'm not good enough. And I've been actually in the exact same position once, And I can so relate to that. And I feel that many people, and also many women, can really relate to this feeling of a lack of self-worth. What would you now, looking back, say, in many cases, or in your case at that time, what is underneath that feeling of lack self? What is the true reason?
And I think we discussed this because I mentioned this in my TED talk. There's a great quote by Einstein saying, if you're judging a fish's ability to climb a tree, the fish will always think it's stupid. So rather than feeling, when you get to the point where you feel you're not good enough, and everybody gets to that point, by the way, and sometimes it's this imposter syndrome, or sometimes there's other underlying causes. But if you get to that stage and you feel, okay, is it me that's not good enough, or is it what I'm doing that doesn't really showcase my strengths? Like just being able to discern and remove yourself from that situation so that you're not internalizing what other people are telling you, that you're not good enough, or you're feeling because you're doing something that isn't meant for you anyway. So being able to, and this is what I wish I knew then, being able to sit down and go, hey, yes, they're telling me that I'm not good enough, but maybe because I'm not good enough at this, but I'm good enough at something else, and having comfort in that. There's a very brilliant interview I watched over the weekend, and it was a model, a supermodel, and she's a person of faith, so she was talking about God, but everyone believes in something, the universe, God, spiritual, higher self, whatever. But she said, it's not enough to have self-confidence, because sometimes when people put you down or life puts you down, it's harder to have self-confidence. But if you have God confidence, or like the universe confidence, that you know that whoever put you here, or whatever your purpose or mission is here to do, you are well equipped to do that. And sort of outsource that faith into that higher power that has created you for this one purpose, and you have confidence in that God or in that universe, you can use that and you can stand on that to face any challenge. And I think I'm going to take that to the grave. I love that so much. I love this God confidence, higher self-confidence, universe confidence that's made me equipped to do the work that I'm here to do.
Wow, wonderful. I love that you pointed that out, to trust in your way, to trust in God, to trust in a reason that we're here, that our journey is making sense no matter what, and where we are right now. And also what I see now, I mean, we're both still young, but still from what we can look at right now, there is changes in life and phases. And in the beginning, like especially very young people, when they get into their career, they don't see until the end of the road. They might feel that this is their life, and they're not maybe open for all the changes and twisters that the universe has in store for them. How, with your experience now, how would you look at life now, or what would you really would like to say to people who are facing career struggle right now?
Oh, it's such a short journey. It's such a short journey. I remember when you come out of education, with school, college, university, wherever you're at, and your first job, or maybe you don't get that graduate job that everybody is getting, all your friends are getting graduate jobs with graduate salaries, and maybe you just had to get a part-time job because you need to get out of the house and start making some money. Or maybe you get this dream graduate job and it's just not what you thought it would be, and you think your whole life is over, because if you can't do this, you're only trained for that. For example, and I used to work with university students, getting work placement, and maybe if you've done like an English literature degree, or a degree that you think is too generic, that you can't do anything else with, it feels like, well, what am I going to do with this useless degree? There's nothing useless, because you learn something, but they call it useless degree. It gets better. It's such a short time, and if it doesn't work for you, change. A lot of HR people and a lot of my colleagues in the career consulting industry used to say, oh, it looks bad if you've moved careers from one step to another. In this day and age, you can't afford to stay where you are. It's this constant evolution and reinvention of yourself. And also, you can't afford to just pigeonhole yourself into, oh, maybe I have a maths degree, so I can only do this. If you're passionate about painting or art, go into that. There's always transferable skills, and it's a point that I really want to hone in. You're not stuck. You shouldn't be defined by what you studied or what you have experience in. Sometimes a lot of people want to change careers and think, well, my whole life, 10 years, 15 years, I've been doing consulting, or I've been doing real estate, and that's all I know. And how am I going to prove that I'm qualified to do accounting or to go into law or whatever it is? Don't pigeonhole yourself. You can always be the person you want to be. You're not stuck. You're not married to a job title. You're not married to a particular field. You're not married to what your experience has been. And the exciting part is reinventing yourself, and getting that first break into a different field. A lot of us identify ourselves by what we do as a job. If you ask anybody, oh, what's your name, blah, blah, what do you do? That's usually the second question you ask at a network and when you meet someone. And if you say, what do you do? They'll tell you what their job title is, rather than what their soul vision is or what their purpose is, So definitely go out of your shell. If you're not happy, move, you're not a tree.
Absolutely. And I love that at your event of the Alpha Woman Club, the first question you asked, we were standing around in a group of amazing women, and you asked, please share everyone what is beautiful about you. And it's a totally different question than who are you and what are you doing? But to really carve out and bring out, hey, this is beautiful about me. This is what I'm really skilled at. And I think there should be a change in society at how we look at people, because nobody taught us how to really interact and to really make connection. We're always speaking about networking, but then I feel sometimes we're poorly equipped of how to build deep connections and conversations that matter.
Yes, and I find this particularly because I specialize in career change, or I specialized for the last decade in career change. And I find that disorienting, because as soon as you start, your identity is based on what you do. When there's a change or a shift of what you do, you feel completely lost. A lot of people can't network anymore because, what am I going to say? Oh, I'm in between jobs, or what do you do? Well, I don't have any answer to that, or I'm still finding myself, and you feel completely inferior. But who you are at core doesn't change. What your vision, your purpose is, doesn't change. And you can, if you're able to articulate that, people can then go, oh, I have a way that you can fulfill that. So I like helping people, for example, if your vision is, or if your purpose is helping people, and you identify yourself by that, it's easy for somebody to say, oh, I've got a group of kids that you can teach, or, oh, I've got a training that you can give, or, oh, there's a mentoring program that you can run. There's so many more opportunities when you identify more with your purpose rather than a job title. And that's, if anything, is the one takeaway that I want people to get from this. Your career is the vehicle that you fulfill your purpose. That's not the purpose. The career itself is just a tool to do your life's work. And you can do it in different ways, and you can call it different things. You might be a communicator, and you might communicate through singing, you might communicate through journalism, you might communicate through vlogging, but you're a communicator, or you're spreading the message, or a messenger maybe, whatever it is. But don't label yourself, or don't be attached to the label, because it changes.
Wow. Your career is only the vehicle. I like that. And also what you pointed out earlier, that I think that's really important, especially for my audience in Germany, because we're still sometimes very stuck on having the great a CV that embrace change. And I know that the US, the UK, they are way ahead of us in that term, like really embracing change and as actually seeing it as something good. It shows that somebody always realigned and you pointed that out, like how positive it's now also viewed by HR if you go with the change. I like that a lot.
And you said about CV, and an important thing about CV as well, and I've done CVs in different countries. So believe me, every experience you do, whether your CV doesn't have to be just the professional trainings you do. Any sort of retreat, any sort of personal development or spiritual awakening, you can articulate in your CV to show or to enhance your professional skills. Put it on your CV if you have room. Show that you're more of a well-rounded person rather than I want to say run of the mill, but I know that's very English, rather than the standard person. All of your experiences, all of your extracurricular training and activities and groups you join. You mentioned about the Alpha Woman Club. That's all part of the skills and the professional bodies that you can include in your CV. So don't limit yourself to just what is standard professional certifications in your CV.
So what I hear from you, it's more about building a personality and embracing all the different aspects of it and bringing all to the table, no matter what we do, whether it's professional or not professional, but really getting out of this, out of the boxes of separating all these parts of us.
Absolutely. Every hiring manager, and I work with a lot of CEOs and I work with a lot of companies, every hiring manager wants to hire a wholesome person. And a wholesome person isn't someone that has just got the professional qualifications and maybe on their life wheel, it's not balanced enough so that they're suffering in their personal life, because of course that will seep into their work. So, and this is why it's important to showcase this whole thing in your CV as well. If you have someone who maybe is following a healthy lifestyle, has a great family that they're happy about, has a good work-life balance, and has the professional qualifications, you're more likely to hire them than someone who seems to be overly skewed to the professional or overly skewed to the personal. And you'll have to work on their personality. They might not fit in well with the team because they haven't developed people working skills or relationship building skills. So as much as you can showcase all of this well-rounded personality in a CV, the better your chances are at getting a job or attracting clients if you're an entrepreneur. It's not just about being an intrapreneur or a worker, but also an entrepreneur and building your team.
I like that you pointed that out, especially for the entrepreneurs, to really focus on their balance. Because sometimes as entrepreneurs, we can get obsessed with our business, or also with like trying to show how good we are and how great we're doing, and then feeling very low on the other side sometimes because we are facing more ups and downs than employees. Can you say a few words to the entrepreneurs as well?
Absolutely. As an entrepreneur, the first thing you need to be is a leader. And when I talk about being a leader, it's not about having a team or your clients, but leading yourself. Leadership is a lot about self-management than it is about other people, because people reflect who you are. So if your team is not working good, the first thing is, am I balanced? Am I setting a good example? It's not about faking it. People see beyond that. If you're balanced and you're empathetic to yourself, oh, today I feel like I'm having a low day, and everybody has that, and being honest with yourself and sitting through that rather than taking it out on people or plastering that happy face and going on Instagram and pretending. People see that and subconsciously they relate to that. So leading yourself in that way and having that balance in your career, that yes, it's going to be ups, yes, it's going to be downs, but as surely as the sun goes up, it comes down, and having that faith that it will come up again, and being prepared for when it does, and accepting some of these pitfalls that comes with entrepreneurships. And as you said, the ups and downs, I call it the life cycle journey, because it's like the ECG of a heartbeat. It shows there's life. If it's flat,
I like that.
If it's flat, you're dead. But if it's going up and down, it means that there's still some life in there,
Oh my God, that's absolutely true. And I can also relate from that, from my past career. Like there was a point where I felt that. I felt like there's no more life, and I want to bring out more parts of me, right? And that what you showed with like this up and downs, to celebrate also the ups and the downs. And you said something really beautiful. You said people reflect who you are and respond to who you are. And in the beginning, you were mentioning your soulmate, your partner, and like how where we are, we're reflecting who we are, and we're attracting that. I think it's a very interesting point. You said, yeah.
Yeah, just to speak more to that, as individuals, and this is going to get a little bit too personal, but I think this is important to be as authentic as possible. As individuals, there's so many things that makes us self-conscious that we could capitalize on, and that will stop us from doing what we're supposed to be doing. Personally, as a Black person living in the West, or from my education, accent, everything. There's so many things that you can say, oh, people are going to judge me for, or oh, I don't have this, or maybe I don't have the look of a stereotypical speaker, or maybe I don't have the qualifications of a stereotypical coach, or maybe I don't have the house or the lifestyle that reflects a successful whatever, and there's so many things that you can pinpoint which will bring you down. But if you're honest and you're vulnerable and you accept where you are, again, having that God confidence that wherever you are is a great place to start, and you have all the tools you need at that point to get to the next level, and to the next level, and to the next level. And there will always, by the way, be another level. As irritating as that endless pursuit is, there is always going to be another next level. So just enjoying the journey and growing with the journey. I think that is the most priceless skill to develop, and I think personally I'm still developing that, but it's easy to get carried away, as you say. You look at someone else on Instagram, or you look at someone else on social media, or even your family going, well, what are you doing? How is it going? What are the numbers? Your accountant is like, well, what did you do this quarter? But just enjoying the whole process and seeing, okay, well, am I better than I was yesterday? And am I growing, or did I learn something new? Yeah, for entrepreneurs, I think that's necessary.
Wow, for me it was almost like a closing sentence that you said, wherever you are right now is a perfect place to be at and to start from. And from what you said, it really pulls away all this shame for, oh, I'm not there yet, or I'm not like this, or looking at maybe at a role model and saying like, oh, but I'm not like this. But to really see like I'm on the journey to that place, or I'm growing into that, or I'm passionate about it, like really embracing the little steps that we take to get there. I really liked what you said there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You were asking about my partner and my cats. I have 3 cats. Yeah, and I think surrounding yourself with people as well that genuinely support you and accept who you are without needing you to change or be at a certain level, I think it's really important, Animals give unconditional love with food.
Right. Yeah, you said in the beginning, you found your zone of genius, or also like a brand. You said like my cheer Linda, coming from the cheerleader, I guess, like really cheering for other people and building that stage for other people and supporting them in their career. And it sounds really round and obvious. Like when you say that, it sounds so natural. How did you get there, or what would you recommend people on their journey to get to this essence, to find their zone of genius, and to voice and show who they are also on that level?
Okay, so there's 2 parts of the question. I'll tell you how I got there and how I recommend other people do that.
Mm-hmm.
For me, understanding that it wasn't about me, and putting the ego away, because there's a part where it's like, well, I'm a cheerleader for others, and who's going to cheer me on, and that sort of, my purpose isn't about me, but other people. But understanding I do that brilliantly, I do that effortlessly, and naturally, it comes naturally to me, and I need to harness this for my own fulfillment and to fulfill my purpose as well. It's when you help others, it comes back tenfold to you, but you don't realize that when you're in the ego way. So for me, it was just understanding, wow, this is what it's all about. This is what fulfills me. This is what I was meant to do, and embracing that. That's when I took on the name my chair Linda, and inserted my name into that, and embodying that I'm a cheerleader for people, for other people, for their goals, for their successes, for their whatever it is they want to do, because it's so easy for people. A lot of people get put down unconsciously, and sometimes not even on purpose. Someone will say, oh, I'm trying to save you from the hurt. You can't, there's no way you can be an actress. There's no way you can be a singer, and they're doing it from a place of love. But if they have that one person that believes in them, they go ahead and do it, and they make a success of it, or at least they learn, but at least they try. So understanding that, okay, this is what I was supposed to do, it was easy to embrace it after a while. And then I got the name my cheerleader. If you're looking for, what is it that I'm passionate about? What is it? It's my purpose. And everybody says, find your why. And it sounds like this huge, daunting task. And please forget about all of that. Like, don't put that pressure on yourself. You don't have to be the next Mother Teresa or the next savior of the world. Everybody's looking for big stages, and nobody is manning the small stages and their one-to-one interactions. If you can help one person, you're a success. If you can help, if you can do we don't all have to help the world. We have to do something that would help a journey. I was thinking about Beyonce's, the teacher that said to Beyonce she can sing. She didn't become a singer herself. Nobody knows her name. But maybe her purpose in life was to tell that one child that you can do this.
Wow. Oh my God, I get goosebumps.
And it could be as simple as that. So I think if you're looking to do this, just go into yourself. In the TED Talk, I shared three tips to finding your zone of genius. And the first thing is to hack yourself. Go back into your childhood. What do I do naturally? What are my natural inclinations? What do I love to do? What do I do naturally? What am I always complimented on? And it could be the silliest thing to you, but write it down. This is going reverse engineering the you before all the expectations and life came on top of it and confused the hell out of you. Let's go back to who you were naturally, and that's usually before the age of 7. What were you naturally inclined to do? And then let's look at all of the things that you do, whether it's in your personal lives or professional lives. So maybe you've trained in a particular field, you've learned a particular sport, maybe you have interest, because sometimes you're not in the space. You might have an interest in robotics, but maybe you're in some third world country and you never have access to that. But put that down as an interest. What interests you about it? Is it the fact that you can program machines to do something? Is it the fact that you can, and have all of those interests, and then see if you can connect the dots in that way. What I'm naturally good at, what my interests are, and hacking those two connects the dots, and then creates this unique you-ness, the unique, what I'm meant to do. How can I apply all of this? So I know that I like to help people. I'm a good communicator. What can I do with that? And then all of a sudden you have so many job descriptions, so many ways that you can go with it. You're not stuck to one job title. I have to be a teacher, or I have to be a spokesperson, or I have to do this. There's so many ways of fulfilling then that purpose, and it's easy and it's natural. And then of course, as with career comes money. Remuneration is the important part of career. So what's going to give me the highest reward, remuneration, money, for what I do naturally? And of course, what is the price I have to pay? Maybe the work hours or the location or whatever it is, and figure out what works for you. But there is always a way to insert you into your job.
Wow. I really like that you said we're all looking for the big stages, but we're not really training on the small stages, or put our awareness to the small stages. And in fact, we all start small. It doesn't matter what we're doing. And at the same time, there are things where people are telling us from an early age on, hey, you're really good at this, and we're doing this naturally. And I can relate also from myself for that. Like, I've been always good in painting and art and sport. And I always thought in the back of my head, yeah, but this is not what's going to bring me money. So I have to be good at math. And that was the one thing I was terribly at. And all my life, I tried to push this to get good in that, because I thought like, yeah, but this is what people will cheer me for. That's what I had in mind. And I like how you bring clarity to that confusion, or how you even said like, hey, be careful how the world is confusing you in that sense.
Yeah. And it's so easy, and people do that because they mean well, but in the long term, it's so unhappy. Imagine if I'd failed, if I'd succeeded in my suicide attempt. I don't know who would have suffered from my not being here, just because I was told, oh, I have to be this, and like, you're working at this prestigious bank and you get to wear Chanel suit every day and live the high lives that everybody, and you're representing your whole family and your race and like all the people that have championed you along the way, and you have this pressure on your shoulders to be somebody that the world expects you to be. But when you fall apart, nobody's there to pick up the pieces, so at some point you've got to realize that this is a flawed system. Yeah.
And maybe that's a personal question, but as you went through this whole process, and as you kind of were brave enough to step away from the old career and develop yourself new, and you succeeded several times in developing yourself, how did your family see you, and how or your surrounding family and surrounding friends, how did they react to your changes, and how do they see you now in your more authentic career?
It's a great question, and I wish I could say it's all rosy and and that, but it's not. But I'm okay with that. When I wanted to leave my career at the bank, the people I was scared to tell most was my family, my parents. Growing up in Africa with zero chances and getting that chance of a lifetime, and now you're going to throw it away because you can't handle it, because someone was mean to you, boo-hoo, cry me a river. And I was really terrified to do that for a long time. So I kept that job for a long time. But it got to a point where they could see that I was unhappy. When you call somebody and they've been crying, or their eyes are permanently red, or I was drinking lots, and I was just falling apart. And again, when you get to rock bottom, it was like, okay, fine, I'll be homeless. I don't care. Like, you have nothing else to lose. So for me, it was then. And surprisingly, they were very supportive. They were very supportive because they were like, we didn't realize how unhappy you were. So sometimes you can create these stories in your head that they're not going to support you or whatever. And then they surprise you by being super supportive. So yes, they supported me then. And then, of course, changing careers and going into this. Because sometimes, at some point I had to move back home with my parents, and leave London. And I've had a lot of career changes, I say there's three stages of career change. You change career for more money and recognition and remuneration because you feel you need it. Then you change it for, so the first is money. The first is recognition and knowing that you can do better and you deserve better, all of that stuff. But there's lifestyle, there's values. Maybe your lifestyle changes. I need to work from home, or I need to be able to deal with the kids and have a family life with good balance. And then sometimes it's the values don't align with what I on core believe. So for example, I had a client who didn't like gambling or that sort of environment, but she was working for a gambling company, doing the data analysis of it, and it was a good job and it was well paid, but the value, it didn't go with the core of what she believed in. When I was working for big corporate, I just felt I was a little piece, and I didn't feel as fulfilled, a little piece in the big puzzle, so there was no big picture to relate to. And as much as I tried, I didn't really see how my little work contributed to the greater. So all of these values are important to be able to know that the career is right for you. I think I've gone off track slightly. But again, so sometimes when like I had to move back home, of course, my family was supportive. Sometimes income falls as well. I left a really high paying job in the bank, going into HR. Well, actually, I went into I was a personal assistant after that. So again, I had to downsize. I was living in a big flat and I had to then downsize into this little flat to go in. And you'll find friends that are supportive. You'll find people that don't understand. But if they don't understand, it's not because of you, it's because of where they're at and their capacity. So again, being able to disassociate with that rather than going, yeah, they're right. I mean, and a lot of my friends, and because I studied finance, so everybody that I knew was working in finance. So to be the only person who's quitting because they can't handle it, you do lose some friends that way. Some people understand and some people don't, but understanding that you can't compare yourself to them. It was their zone of genius, it wasn't mine. So again, just having this objective head to be able to understand, okay, my family support, and if they don't support, maybe my mate support. And if I don't have anybody's support, I have God's support or the universe's support, or go find a like-minded tribe that will support you. I find that the entrepreneurial community do that well, because we all have similar journeys and similar stories. So maybe find an entrepreneurial community that will support, or some people an anxiety support community, whatever it is, but like-minded people would get you through as well, the ups and downs.
Wow, I really like the point that you said, when we're going through these identity shifts and when we're leaving something behind, that we have to dissociate from the comments from other people and to have this compassion for them, that they are speaking through their lens.
Yeah.
And that has nothing really to do with us. But especially in the beginning, we sometimes fall into this pit of taking it super personal and saying, oh, okay, maybe they're actually right.
Yeah.
Or maybe we want to start something new and we pull together all our strengths and we think, okay, I am that artist, I am this, whatever, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then somebody says one bad comment and we're falling apart. And maybe it's also part of the journey to go through this and rise up and say no, it is what they're saying, but it has nothing to do with who I am. Again, coming back to what you said in the really beginning, people will react to who you are.
Yeah, the right people react to who you are. You'll attract the best, you'll repel the rest, and that's okay.
I love that. You attract the best, you repel.
Sometimes when we start our businesses, we expect our friends and our family to support us, and someone will, because you didn't give them a discount or you didn't give them your product for free, or you didn't work for them for free, they'll go spend triple somewhere else and they don't support you, or you feel they don't support you. It's not their job to support you. Just understanding that it's not, again, they might not be your people. Maybe you're supposed to repel them, keep them as friends and keep them in that box as friends, but they're not customers.
Oh my God, I think that's a big mistake that so many people run into when they first start something, that they try to find this approval from their surrounding. And if they don't get it, they fall apart inside of them. But to really see that, hey, if the people who are your people will react to what you offer, to really see search support from everywhere, to open up to that, I think it's a really, really important point.
Yes, of course.
Wow.
I think this is such an important conversation. So thank you so much for initiating that. And I love the name Soul Vision. I keep staring at it on the screen. It really just says everything that it's supposed to be, you know, like the ability to see and see properly, like, you know, vision, like go seeing through all the fluff and the negativity and everything else that hides the core of who you are. And of course the soul, which is the eternal bit of who you are. I love those two words together. I just had to say it.
Wow, thank you for saying that. Yes, that was beautifully put. And can you maybe two more things. First of all, for everybody who listened to this interview, what are the ways to get in touch with you or to benefit from your knowledge? Because I felt like you have this very generous aura of understanding all these stages, right? And if people are thinking like, oh wow, I want the support of Linda, I really want to get in touch, maybe read the book, or maybe even reach out for a coaching, what are the ways to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so you can find a lot more about me on my website, lindapallien.com. Also, I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and what's the other one? Facebook. So many of them. I'm on that, and my handle is at Linda Pallien, LindaPallien. So definitely you can reach out to me directly that way. If you're interested in the books as well, which I share, the acronym is CAREER because it works out that way, which stands for cause, authenticity, reasoning, excitement, environment, and remuneration. These are the 6 steps to really identifying what you're meant to do, or what you're meant to do as a career, what you're meant to do if you're an entrepreneur, what if an opportunity is meant for you, if it's aligned with your cause, if it's authentic to you and truly authentic to you, if you have a strong enough reason to do it, if you're in the right environment and surrounding yourself by like-minded people, if it excites you and you're willing to put in the effort over time, and of course, if it pays well to justify being a profitable venture. So that's what CAREER stands for.
Wow, I love that. It's powerful to kind of turn this. For me, it was always a little bit of ugly term, career. It has so many negative connotations, and to really turn it into something that you can actually get excited about. I love that.
Yeah, thanks for saying that, because a lot of people think that you say career, people are like, ugh, I don't want to go back into corporate or whatever. And career is what you do. As I said, it's the vehicle through which you fulfill your purpose. Whatever you do. So understanding that those 6 steps will guide you towards doing the right thing for you through life. So if you're interested in the books, you can find them on Amazon. The first one is the How to Career book.
Yes, please show them. Yes, How to Career. And this is the guide? No, this is the other one. Yeah, How to Career.
This is the guide that shows you how to fulfill your potential, market your value in 6 steps. So it explains career, the acronym career, in more detail. And so this is for people that are changing career, rediscovering it, but also starting on a new career or journey. You know, it's really a self-exploration, or even understanding whether what you're doing is right for you. So this is How to Career, how to do it well. And then the second book is Career Success, which is when you've identified what the right career is for you, how to be a badass at it. So it talks about how to network, how to market yourself, how to give value, how to, because I always said it's not about you, it's about who you help. And the more people you help, the more successful you get. So this is the thickest book. And it really helps you to authentically build relationships and insert yourself into the work that you do. So practical tools for immediate results, that's career success. The final one, which just fell. It's a career workbook for success, which is a workbook and a tool for all of it. Inside, it shows you, and my business is called Career and Mindset. So we work on the mind as well as the practical tools. So mindset that serves you. This is why I'm hot. I write in the way that
nice.
So it's fairly informal. It's not boring at all. And it's an uplifting way. If you've written all the compliments you've got for your job, all the training you've done, it's easy to be able to know your value and to be able to sell that value, whether it's to your employer or whether it's to your client. So this is a workbook that will show you how much of a badass you are in your operations. So if you really want to solidify what you're doing and understand maybe the gaps that you need, how to handle objections, then the career workbook is for you. And these are about 15, 20 euros each. They're not breaking the bank at all, but they're like lifelong resources. And this is part of my gift to the world, really, to be able to empower people to take their work into their own hands and lead their promotion and lead their getting to the next level without waiting for someone else to tell you, hey, you're good enough now, let's go to the next level. Let's do that by ourselves, and then the world will see it.
So if I got you right, then it's not only for people who are employed, but it's really this new sense of building your career, using your career as a vehicle to bring whatever you want to bring to the world. And it helps to get this clarity about who you are and how to show up. And I really liked also the workbook, because we cannot stress this more, this point, how important the inner work is, right? In order to grow externally.
All I have to say to that is amen, sister. Everything you said.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Linda, then maybe I like to ask two questions always, where I ask you to fulfill the sentence. The first one is, freedom is.
Ooh, that's a good one. And I need one word, or can I?
You can fill in a whole sentence.
Freedom is the ability to do what is on your heart to do, I think. Funny enough, I had a discussion about this because a lot of us value freedom, but freedom is such a broad definition, the freedom to live a healthy life so I can climb a mountain. That's physical freedom. Freedom not to be in an abusive relationship and be able to say what I think, that's freedom. Freedom to be able to express myself and be heard, that's freedom. So freedom is being able to do what's in your heart to do, unreservedly, without any constraints, whether people are looking at me or talking about me or what they will think about me. It's to fully self-express. I love it.
Beautiful. And the second,
not making me say one word.
And the second one is, the world would be better if.
The world would be better if everybody found what they're supposed to be doing, their purpose, and used their gifts to serve the world.
Absolutely.
I agree. I want to leave you with this image. I think everybody is a piece of a puzzle. There's one unique piece in that puzzle, and we all play a function to create the bigger picture. And if we're trying to be like other pieces or other people, we don't play our part, and therefore the world isn't the complete picture that it's supposed to be. But if we all play our part and be the best version of ourselves and be the truest, highest version of ourselves, we create this magnificent picture in the world, and we play this role in the world. So definitely.
Beautiful. I wanted to ask you for a last word, but I think that's almost it. Except you have one last thing to say to anybody who was listening to the interview and who's on their journey to create this fulfilled career.
Go be you, and be you beautifully so, and unreservedly so, unabashedly so. Go be you, and you can do it, regardless of how long it takes. You can do it, and honor the journey.
Thank you.